I went through Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans. We had hurricanes every year. It was part of our vacation plan. I wasn't going to leave for this one. I was working in hotels and going to get my master's in clinical social work. And the big storm was coming, yeah, so I can help you. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'll happy to do free service. No, so my dad called and said, we're all evacuating. This is not going to be good. And I said, I'm not going. I always stayed at hotels. Every summer I worked in hotels. I would stay at the hotel. And I worked for Fairmont. And they were like, well, if you stay, we're all staying. And if something happens, it's on you. I said, well, let me get the damn dog. And so I left. I left New Orleans in the middle of the night. They do a contraflow. You can't go back and forth. It took 3 hours to get 40 miles outside of the eye of the storm. The gas was literally like running out of gas on the side of the road. People were picking people up. Like, it was crazy. Storm went by. We had 4 families in a 4-bedroom house, 3 pets. The pets were outside. Storms are going. We lost power. We had a generator that we didn't have enough gas. There was a little bit that he had for his lawnmower, and the toilets, it was on a well system, so we're flushing toilets. And the last thing you want to pack when you leave is a bunch of oatmeal bars because you can't cook. Because no toilets and oatmeal bars do not make for a happy setting, I'm going to tell you. So I'm staying at my parents' friend's house, and it's me and my ex, and then my brother and his girlfriend, and all of these people are packed in this house with these dogs. And then I watch on TV that we hooked up after the 2 days go by, and there's my house. And the news is on a boat, and there's my house, and it's 7 feet underwater. Oh my gosh. Everything I owned, everything, my brothers lived here, my parents lived here, we were all in the same area. We were all nothing.
Were you owning at that point?
I was renting, but
okay.
all of my furniture.
All your stuff.
The only thing I wanted was a letter that I wrote to my grandmother before she passed. And I put it on the top shelf.
Did it survive?
No, I didn't even go back to my parents went in. I didn't do any of that. So I'm like, okay, fight or flight. I went, you couldn't go because some of the interstates were broken down, and I ended up in Florida for 2 nights. And then Fairmont called and gave my ex, I was quitting Fairmont to go to really dive into graduate school. They offered him a job at Fairmont Copley Plaza. I had never been to Boston. I had never been up north. I went to New York, but with a family vacation when I was young. And I had left everything I knew. And so I walk in, and by that point, I had a trash bag, because you couldn't go to the store and just get toothpaste and water. People were holding guns with milk for their children. It was bad. And so by the time I finally made it to Boston, it took me about 4 days. I had already paid my semester of, I worked restaurants, hotels, everything to pay for my tuition, all gone because I had paid them, and now all their systems were down. So I wasn't getting a refund, and I had taken out an HSBC credit card. And I was like, shit, I gotta make some decisions. I got a white trash bag, toothpaste, toothbrush, my dog's crate, and 3 business suits. Don't ask me why. I think it's because I actually had to get them custom fit. It was one of the things that I was proud, because I was about to start going in to do clinicals for social work. And so I had these, and something about those 3 suits were I'm going to take this with me. I had no other clothes. I had a Minnesota St. Cloud t-shirt, khaki shorts, pair of tennis shoes, 1 pair of underwear, socks. I was going to go, sleep, and then drive home, because that's how it always worked. I go in and I walk in. This lady next to me has Louis Vuitton luggage into the Fairmont Copley. The little dog that's the little thing is in there, and I have dog prints all over my shirt. And I walk up and I was like, we're here to check in. They knew we were coming because we were displaced, and they said, we're putting you on the gold floor. And the lady with all the Louis Vuitton goes, and pardon my French, she goes, how in the fuck does he look like that? And they're going on the gold floor. And so I was mortified. I had realized now that I had not only been trying to survive and struggle, but now I'm being judged because I didn't have anything, and my clothes were dirty, and I looked like that guy that's on the Peanuts cartoon, the dirty one, Linus? Pigpen? Thank you. So I go in, they put us on the gold floor because they had food there. They had a happy hour. Now, I didn't have clothes to go to that happy hour. They were doing our laundry, so I had to figure out what that looks like. This is not a Target Walmart body. So I went to Rochester's Big and Tall on Boylston. It's the only wear that fit me. And I walked in. There was a blue and yellow gingham shirt that was paper thin. And this is like September, guys, and it's starting to get cold. And I had never experienced, you know, in the South, our winter is like 60. So I got that shirt. I got a pair of mom jeans. The lady comes up. She goes, "Oh, my God, where are you from?" Like, da-da-da, you know, trying to help out. And then she realized I had this really thick New Orleans accent. She goes, "Where are you from?" And I was like, "New Orleans." She goes, "Oh, do you live?" I said, "I just moved here." She goes, "Oh, okay." She walks off. So I get like those 2 items that all I could afford, put it on my little tiny credit card that I had. And she goes, "Go back and get whatever you want." And so I was like, "What?" And I was like, "This is all I can do." And she said, No. Go back and take whatever you want. Our manager, we're going to comp it all."
Oh, I could cry.
So I had a full week's worth of laundry. I did not have laundry. And I would walk to the laundromat and I would do laundry and I would sit in there and I would have, this is like, I think I had a flip phone. This was not iPhone time. This was nothing. And so I went in there and then my dog got sick and then like was barking in the hotel and I was stressed out. I would go to Boston Library and I would apply for jobs. Monster.com, that's the era. And I would apply for jobs. And then I got a call from somebody who knew my mom's friend at the inn at Longwood. And they offered me a job as a banquet manager, which I did during college. And I did Dana-Farber, Brigham Women's, Harvard, and I would set up all their nurses' stuff. I would go in, I would have breakfast, I would have lunch, and then they would let me leave. They made this job up for me. These people were like literally opening doors for me. Dirty shirt boy, they're opening, and I had my 3 suits. So those 3 suits played into the uniform that I needed to wear. Cut to, I went back, started working for a couple nonprofit organizations to help rebuild New Orleans and got into real estate. I didn't start winning in real estate until I got to Atlanta. And when I started making, at first I was like, oh, 6 figures, wow, that's crazy. Then I made $250,000. I was like, shit, this is like, I can live with this. 3 years ago, New Orleans was hit with another hurricane. I own 6 homes. I have stacked paper, I've had my success in real estate. Success looks different for everybody. The true win wasn't the bank account or the homes. They had that hurricane. My homes I was able to give to each and every one of my friends and family that needed a place to stay for 3 weeks. And I actually took a trip to Mexico and gave up my personal home too. And so you constantly, and we had the company Rochester Big and Tall, DXL, do a massive donation. I had all of my clients tweet into this company donating. We did 400 brand new coats for the most impoverished school in Atlanta. It's the opportunities that you continue to be able to give back. That's where the success is. Oh, yeah. And so for me, I wake up every day because even though I know I won't be in that place, I never want anyone in my circle, which is what you were kind of alluding to. So that's why I wake up, I get my shit done, and I will never literally not have an idea to navigate. I do not lose, and the people around me don't either. And so that's my big why.